Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Two interesting articles. Both are about mercenaries, but one is about the Balkan mercenaries and the other one is about specifically Serbian mercenaries that supposedly, or who supposedly the Russians are recruiting and house in Russia. And there's a piece of information that I was unaware of, and that is the son of former Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. The information that he is, I don't know, has been living in Russia, and he is involved in recruiting, quote unquote, mercenaries, Serbian mercenaries. I did not know that he was alive. I did not know that he was there, and he was not handed over somehow to the dispensers of truth and justice. I send you to the Nuremberg trials, but to the good books, not to the official books. So I'm not going to talk about further. Go and read it. Ukrainska Pravda. Russia recruits mercenaries in Balkans. This is Friday, 6th of January. Interesting. So Friday, and it doesn't have the same, you see, it doesn't have the same as content as the next one, which is again from Ukrainska Pravda, says Russia recruits Serbian mercenaries, settles them in Moscow suburbs. The same Friday, 6th of October. This was the first one at 1:36. The other one was at what? 4:54. So the second one with the Serbians is different. Russia is recruiting Serbian mercenaries, house blah blah blah. The other one is Russia recruits mercenaries from the Balkans from the war of blah blah blah. So let's start with the Balkan one, with this one. Russia recruits mercenaries in Balkans. Russia recruits mercenaries from the Balkans for the war against Ukraine. Two Serbians are responsible for this. Let's see, and I'm quoting, the main region for recruiting is the Balkans. One of those involved in it is Dejan Beric, a Serbian living in Russia. He is a former mercenary himself and fought against Ukraine in 2014. Where exactly? Oh, in the east part where the Ukrainian tanks were attacking their own people who did not recognize their coup. Oh, that's what it is? Yeah, I got it. Another well-known mercenary is Zika Radojic, also a Serbian, who is now participating in the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine on Russia's side. End quote. Let's clarify this garbage. They say full-scale invasion of Ukraine. If there would be a full-scale invasion, you would not see under 1 million Russian attackers and invaders. You would see about 30 million. That's a full invasion. What's over here? It's a special military operation. Why? Because if you have this potential and you use only the pinky, that means you're not really fighting. Okay, you are fighting, but you're not like, let's go, it's only rock and roll. Imagine you go and fight, street fight, and you use only, let's say, the right arm, right hand, whatever, okay? You're still fighting full force? I don't think so. I mean, under what kind of rules? So let's go back to the article. Details. The National Resistance Center stresses that having a passport of another state does not absolve the combatants of liability for taking part in the war against Ukraine. Now, Dejan Beric is a Serbian mercenary, a Serbian Chetniks movement activist, and a sniper. In March 2021, he announced his return to the front when tension intensified between Ukraine and militants in the eastern region. Why don't we call them freedom fighters? Oh, militants. No, they're freedom fighters. They want freedom. Yes. Like the Albanians in Serbia. Yeah. Freedom. They're not called militants, right? They are peace-loving, whatever. He was decorated many times by the Donetsk militants, freedom fighters, and the Ministry of Defense of Russia, mainly with Russian medal for the return of Crimea. So that's the first one. Let's go to the second one. And this is the one with the Serbians mercenaries. This is Alexander Vucic, President of Serbia. Let's look a little bit. Shoes, okay, good to go. Russia is recruiting Serbian mercenaries and housing them in a student accommodation building in the suburbs of Moscow with plans to form a full-fledged Serbian brigade. Now I have a question. They say they are in a student accommodation building with the students in, if you know what I mean, or just empty. Empty building. The BBC Russian service discovered that the Serbian mercenaries are enrolled in the 106th Airborne Division. In particular, Serbian commander Devor Savicic, who has been fighting in the east of Ukraine since 2014, Alexander Sergeant Zaldostanov, the leader of the Night Wolves, and, I didn't know this, the son of the ex-president of Yugoslavia, Marko Milosevic, who lives in Russia, are involved in recruiting. Okay, Marko, now I know you exist. Quote, the BBC Russian service studied the recording of one of the meetings with the participation of Davor Savicic, during which he stated that he is going to form a full-fledged Serbian brigade as part of the 106th Tula division of the Russian Airborne Forces by the fall of 2023, recruiting up to 1,000 Serbian citizens into it. Thousands. A whole system was developed for this project in Moscow Oblast. Foreigners arriving in Russia were accommodated in a temporary student accommodation building next to the Sky Stadium of Krasnogorsk. A special notary must handle all their documents, and the contracts are drawn up to Korolyov, end quote. Well, so that everything is legal. Then are there mercenaries? Are mercenaries legal or illegal? I think the mercenaries are illegal, aren't they? Whatever. Maybe I'm just... Journalists reported that Moscow Oblast was chosen because the region did not fulfill the tasks set before it regarding the number of conscripted soldiers, volunteers. The BBC Russian service also got access to a list of the names of Serbs who were recruited in the Russian army. Among them was a Serbian citizen, Vukasin Stevanovic. He denied that he had entered into a contract and now serves in the 106th Airborne Division. Vukasin Stevanovic claimed that he works in Russia as an ordinary construction worker. In several photos on his social media, he poses with a weapon in the military uniform of the Serbian army. So, that proves what? He fulfilled his mandatory duty, being, in the military. I don't know if Serbia still has mandatory serving in the military army. And I'm quoting, I was born to fight and I will fight. Stevanovic wrote about himself. He didn't say where, what. I mean, I'm a fighter too, but it doesn't mean that I'm a mercenary in Russia, am I? And if I post some pictures with certain kind of situation, doesn't mean that I'm doing it somewhere, wherever you want me to pinpoint me. Maybe I'm in Bangladesh fighting and I'm not in Ukraine. Anyway, it's just garbage. But his mother told the BBC Russian service that Stevanovic has been in Russia for more than a year. Oh, so, ladies of the night, where he allegedly works in construction. Yeah, okay. He rarely calls her because of problems with a mobile network in Russia, end quote. Okay. Are these all supposed to be facts that tell me that that guy is a mercenary? All this, that he's been in Russia for a year, that he says, and his mom said that he works in construction, that he doesn't make regular phone calls, that he posted a picture with him while he was serving in the military and said that he's a fighter and he will be fighting. What is he supposed to be? A loser and lay down, go to a fucking safe space and be a pussified society? What are you talking about? Are these all evidence? I'm supposed to say, oh yeah, okay, another one, Jesus Christ, another one. This is okay, or I'm waiting. You got my attention. The fact that the Serbian mercenaries are participating, so they jump to the fact. Is it a fact now? are participating in the war in Ukraine was confirmed at the end of August by Davor Savicic, the Serbian sniper Dejan Beric, on the podcast of Solovyov live propaganda program presented by Vladimir Solovyov, a Russian propagandist. Okay, thank you very much. Always is the same thing as with the American. When the American government tells you something, you should probably look the other way, because probably that's not for you, it's against you. So the same, when these guys are calling those guys propagandists, already sound more interesting than these guys at CNN, MSNBC and garbage. Savicic said that his battalion was in the area of the Hostomel airfield near Kiev at the beginning of the war, after which they were transferred to Kharkiv Oblast and then to the village of Bobubo in Donetsk Oblast. Mercenarism is the criminal offense in Serbia, so Serbs recruited into the Russian army can face up to 10 years in prison at home. Okay, if they return. If they don't, they die. Well, my friends, laws and regulations and constraint and all that. Okay. But again, they try to pinpoint that guy was this and that. All right. If he is, it seems like there are laws about it. So he's going to probably face the Serbian, how should I put it, justice system if he returns to Serbia, which I don't think that will happen. I don't think the punishment will be too severe. Yeah, they're recruiting. What do you expect? It's just because they do it is wrong, but the other guys are doing legally and nicely and all that. Anyway, this is garbage what's going on over there, and this is just a little bit of crimes and abuse and destruction and terror the Ukrainian nation has to, be exposed to and suffer. Why? I maintain saying that because of other people's interests that count, their money, stock going up, and others, and that's the big crime. It's because some people think that they're doing it for their nation, culture, country, and all these noble thoughts and ideals, when actually they are maneuvered into this by other bigger interests. It's the same thing where it happened, for instance, in Romania after the fall of communism in 1989. There were some demonstrations, mass demonstrations, and people were angry. Or the revolution in Romania, people were angry, people were all that, and that was triggered by outside interests that were fighting against Ceausescu and all those guys. So on that structure of being dissatisfied with what's going on in Romania and those guys over there, it was easy to just throw a match and start the whole fire, and then say, yeah, you did it, when in fact there were agents infiltrated and actively working in Romania to destabilize and break Romania at that time. The same thing with the so-called end of the Cold War. Yes, we beat them. Yeah, the outcome was that Soviet Union disintegrated, but there was a big arrangement and negotiations behind the scenes between the Soviets, some Soviets, and the Americans and the Brits and so on. So it was not this way. But we're told, yes, we won. Yeah, you won, and you got Putin in a war in Ukraine right now. So a short victory, you have to know how to handle it. And how did they handle it? By trying to kick everybody in the teeth. That was a wrong way of showing how fantastic you are. I mean, if you look after the fall of Soviet Union, what did the new how should I put it? The only thug in town. What did he do? Behave like a thug. Instead of saying, wait a minute, I will be enlightening the world. I will change now. I have the opportunity to lead and show everybody that I am the one. They fucked it up. And the resultant is people said, okay, this guy got strong, I'm going to go with him, and I'm going to go away from this guy's plantation. Instead of, that was the opportunity, one of the opportunities of the Americans to show that they are what they are, but actually they showed, those guys took over and they showed something else. Unfortunately, they missed an opportunity. They thought they were going to grab the world by the balls, the interest through the US military with the weasel politicians that are supported with campaign donations and blah 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 donations, and the mass media is in the pocket of the same guys. And what did they do? If you abuse someone for a while, that person will never forget it was abused by you. And once that person grows and gets bigger, what do you think is going to do? You're going to be the first one who's going to try to kick you in the balls. That's what's going on right now. And unfortunately, the more enemies you got, not that the other guys are just angels. No, but they could have found a different way of dealing with smaller countries, because they always bullied the smaller countries, not the big countries, the smaller countries. And then you got the reaction, and these are the consequences. And now they say, wait, Russia is crazy and wants territory. This is such an idiotic proposition for the garbage below 86 IQ population that it works. It works. And they vote. That's even worse. That's why they like democracy so much, and it's a threat to our democracy, because it's a controlled democracy. How do these guys get information? Do you think they listen to me, Evil Emil, or others like me, or better than me? No, they look at the CNN, the lowest hanging fruit, and they grab it. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, garbage. And they listen to that, and then they go and vote based on that garbage. With their below 86 IQ, it's a fantastic combination to have an informed citizen. And then you argue with them, and they want to put you in the camps. They want you to they want you to wear masks. You have to do these guys. What? And we are outvoted by the big majority of tards. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.